Thanks for joining today's webinar. You can enlarge your screen for the optimal viewing experience using these buttons. You can also click the arrow here to view the hidden menu. The section at the very bottom will twirl out a menu that allows you to ask questions for the host to answer. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoy this webinar.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this surprise session of our TaxBandits virtual conference. We know that you were all expecting to see Jason's lovely face, probably much lovelier than ours and the news that we have to share with you.
Probably.
But due to some recent changes, you have Amber and myself, Christina, representing TaxBandits to talk about updates to the BOIR. Because of recent changes with the BOIR and the
because of sudden recent changes.
Very sudden
Yes.
changes, yes. We are changing our layout a little bit for this particular session. Jason recorded a lovely presentation for you all with lots of fun tips on BOI reporting and how to do it efficiently for your business, for your clients. But due to those sudden changes, we are not going to show you his presentation. We're actually just going to come to you with what's happening and kind of what you need to know and what you can do to stay informed on additional changes coming up. So, just to start us off, the recent change, I'm sure a lot of our audience has heard, but in case you have not, the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Texas issued an order that's temporarily stopping the enforcement of the Corporate Transparency Act, including the BOIR reporting requirement. So that is in effect at this point.
Right. And that happened, when was that?
The court ruling, I believe, was December 3rd. That would have been Tuesday. But the actual updates that we received from FinCEN were, I believe, on Friday around 5:30 Eastern time.
Yeah. So December 6th.
Recent. Yeah. Do you want to start off with just some of the common questions that we've been hearing about this change?
Yeah. So obviously, we've gotten a lot of calls and questions from our clients, which is expected because this is so just not expected. And so we've gotten a lot of questions about, well, what does that mean? What does it mean when they're like, oh, well, it's not mandatory, but you can still do it, but you don't have to do it. And if you don't do it, you're not going to get fined. And so we'll talk a little bit about those things. And then also we're hearing a lot of, well, obviously it's not going to get completely overturned, right? And so we're hearing a lot of that too. So we'll kind of walk through those things and discuss that. And then we'll talk a little bit about how TaxBandits is modifying and moving along with all of this as well. So do you want to kind of go into those questions a little bit?
Yeah. So the first one that I feel like you touched on is just, what does this all mean, right? That's the biggest, what even
right. What does all this legal stuff mean?
And at the core, the point of this is that reporting companies are currently not required to submit the BOI report, which is a big change from the information that companies have been hearing really throughout most of this calendar year.
The year, yeah.
They, based on statements from FinCEN, at this point will not face penalties for non-compliance while that injunction remains in effect.
Right.
So that...
And I think that's the important part. Yeah. So again, this has not been officially overturned. It's not like, oh, it went away, we're done. This is it's kind of on hold.
Exactly.
It's like in a holding pattern where okay, I think that they're going to see what do they need to fix? What do they need to change? And it very may well come back into effect in 2025. But what this is saying is that if you do not file by that January 1st deadline, you're not going to get penalized as of right now with the holding that we're in with the BOI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And until more information is released, that's what we're going with. So
right.
The January 1st deadline, or the deadlines that were in place for companies who started in 2024
right.
even.
And that's directly from FinCEN about you're not going to be penalized. So typically we don't give information out because we want to make sure that we're saying the correct things. But FinCEN has directly said that nobody is going to get penalized as of right now.
And on your same note of this doesn't mean that it's gone, it also doesn't mean that you have to file right now. It's in that holding pattern. One of their statements is that while the litigation is ongoing, which again is proof that this is an ongoing matter, it's not gone for good.
Right.
We're going to have to kind of see where things go, but FinCEN will comply with the court's order as long as it remains in effect. So that does mean, like we've stated, reporting companies are not currently required to submit the BOI reports per FinCEN. We do want to focus a little bit more on, like, it's not necessarily forever. We're going to keep you updated. The Department of Justice, on behalf of the Department of the Treasury, has filed a notice of appeal as of December 5th of 2024. So again, all of those changes are really recent, really sudden, but these kinds of things take time.
Yes.
So even though all of this is happening, it's going to take a long time before we know for sure if it's coming back, if it's
What's
going away.
going to happen.
Exactly.
And in the meantime, they have said that you can still file the report under just a voluntary, hey, I still want to do this, and they're still going to accept that. But it's just the mandatory obligation is taken away right now.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because of this change, TaxBandits is not currently accepting BOI reports. We are really closely monitoring any news related to the BOI reporting, anything from FinCEN or regarding the court case. We are looking at good alternative solutions to make sure that businesses and preparers are ready if that effect comes back into play.
Right.
It's just that right now, like as of today, we're not currently accepting the BOI reports.
Right. Well, and that's a good point, which leads into a really good point of making sure that you're signed up for a TaxBandits account, because then we are continuing to send out information. So as soon as we hear, we are sending emails, writing blogs, having making videos, and so we're going to stay up to date with the requirements and what's the latest news. And if you are signed up for a TaxBandits account, which is free, you will then get those email reminders, and then you'll be able to get those blogs and everything through those reminders. So making sure that you're signed up at TaxBandits.com is a really good way to stay up to date, to make sure to see how this is going to play out.
And if it does end up being a requirement, like when you're actually able to submit those reports again through us. So it's definitely a good thing to do.
Yeah.
As far as additional information, I mean, that's really where we are with the updates from FinCEN. Like you said, we'll continue to follow this closely. And then we just want to make sure the information available is transparent. So if you're unfamiliar with either the BOI report or the recent court case, we will link a couple of really great resources in the description, and just make sure that those are available to you. You can check out our site. We've got a lot of great resources already available if you need to catch up on what's happened so far.
Right. Now, as a, let's say that I'm a tax preparer or I have a firm. So now that the BOI is kind of tabled, I can just chill out now?
No.
Oh.
No, you can never chill out.
Oh.
I don't know if you have heard, but it is the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
I know. And
it's coming, isn't it?
It's coming. That means for your business, but
Right.
also all of your clients' businesses, you didn't just have to worry about the BOI report.
Right.
You have to worry about all those other January deadlines. So your 1099 NECs, your W-2 forms, your 941s, your 940s, those forms for all of your clients, those deadlines not affected by this change at all.
Right.
So honestly, the better thing to do, rather than just chilling,
Right.
would be using the time that you were spending trying to get ready for the BOI report, trying to get those submitted. Spend that time instead getting ready for the 1099 filing, W-2s, all of that year-end stuff that's coming anyway.
Right.
We've got some more time before the holidays. Like, go ahead and get your TaxBandits account set up, not just for the notifications, but because you can add your clients, you can add your staff, you can go ahead and add your credits.
Right.
Everything can be ready to go. We even offer pre-filing. So if you have clients that are ready to file those forms now, now you have all this free time that's not BOI focused.
Right.
Maybe not all this free time, but a little bit of free time
Right.
that's not BOI focused.
Yes.
So you can go ahead and file those year-end returns for your clients, and then that's one less thing you have to do during January, which we all know is the most chaotic month of the year for.
Probably a little bit, yeah. And again, just the benefits of filing with TaxBandits, whether it's BOI or W-2, 1099, whatever that looks like, is that TaxBandits is the #1 solution for tax professionals to file their forms. And also, we have an amazing support team. And so that's something that sets us apart, is that anytime you have questions or your clients have questions, we are here to help with those. And we have email support, chat support, and phone support. And so we're here Monday through Friday, ready to help with any of those questions. And that's probably the biggest thing that sets TaxBandits apart, is that we are prepared in a way to help you through with any kind of questions that you might have.
Yeah,
So
I think that wraps us up for today. So thank
Okay.
you so much for tuning into this session.
Yeah, and as we get more news, you might see Jason's original
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah, it's great information.
Right. So we might release that. We'll keep it in the vault for right now, but we'll release it if we see fit. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining.